They're really third world all the way, and we have a lot of great Cuban Americans, and I would say Marco fits very solidly into that category. And I might ask you to say a few words about, we were discussing it before, Cuba is a very different, they don't have energy, they don't have oil, but they would live off of the oil from Venezuela, and what they do have is very strong people and very powerful people militarily, and they would protect the people running Venezuela, and they would take in a lot of money from Venezuela. Now they don't have that. They won't be taking in any money. So, Marco, what do you think?
Well, I mean, the fundamental problem in Cuba is that it's run by incompetent people that don't know what an economy looks like, much less a functioning one. They've made a choice, and that is they would rather have political control over the people than they would have an economy that functions. And they've gotten away with it for 60-something years because they've had donors, the Soviet Union, and now most recently Venezuela. But that's now gone. So the people in control in Cuba have a choice to make. They can either have a real country with a real economy where their people can prosper, or they can continue with their failing dictatorship that's going to lead to systemic and societal collapse. That's a very stark and dramatic choice, and it's one we hope to make the right one. We don't have an interest in a destabilized Cuba, but that would be their fault because they refuse to allow the people of Cuba to have either economic or political freedom for that matter.
And you have a lot of people in this country that want to go back to Cuba and help Cuba. A lot of people have left, they came in penniless, they didn't have anything, and they've become very rich people in our country, and they want to very much go back and help Cuba.
Do you see Venezuela, now led by Delcy Rodriguez, as an ally of the U.S.? Is that the way that you view that country right now?
Well, right now they seem to be an ally, and I think it'll continue to be an ally, and we don't want to have Russia there. We don't want to have China there. And by the way, we don't want Russia or China going to Greenland, which if we don't take Greenland, you're going to have Russia or China as your next door neighbor. That's not going to happen. The white.
Mr. President, thank you. You just said that these companies would have security guarantees if they go in on the ground in Venezuela.
They will have.
And what is your plan there actually for these companies and those Americans who are going to be on the ground working for these companies?
Well, there are going to be Americans. I assume they're going to be using a lot of Americans, but they're going to be using a lot of people from Venezuela and other places, I would imagine. But I would think that mostly they'll be using Venezuelan workers. They have a lot of great workers. They have a very high unemployment rate, and they have workers that are very familiar with taking oil out of the ground. Yeah.
How long do you think the Ayatollah will be in power after what we've seen play out on the ground there? When is the U.S. going to get involved now that reports of protesters being killed on the ground?
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're going to make sure that it's very, very good security. And I think the people of Venezuela are going to give you very good security. The people, now I'm not talking even leadership, the people of Venezuela are going wild over this. They named a street after President Trump. What do? You attack a country and they name a street? That's never happened before. Although I heard that's also taking place in Iran. They named a street. The protesters. I just hope, just God bless them. I just hope the protesters in Iran are going to be safe because that's a very dangerous place right now. And again, I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting because we'll start shooting too.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Want to start off by giving all praises into Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, HaKadosh. Want to say double honor to our apostles, to our elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth with sincerity. Yeah, this is Rob Lamont, man. I was, watching this, press conference with DJ Trump as he's been on a tear, reminding me of the scripture, the devil coming down having great wrath. Even the people in Greenland are saying that pretty much he does what he wants, which is reminiscent of Nero. Okay. But in post-production, you can see what's been put up in the subject that's going to be addressed. Okay, because at the end of the day, they can say whatever to demonize these third world countries. But at the end of the day, they're going throughout the earth with the sword. Okay, taking peace away from the earth. Okay, and this is reminiscent of Revelations. All right, so we go into the book of Revelations, chapter 6, verse 4, I believe. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to do what? To take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. All right, and that's representative of Esau. All right, you know, you got the pale horse is representative of him, and the red horse. You know why? Because both of them are, you know, the prophecies point towards what they're doing. All right, also deceiving the nations, man. Okay, through their propaganda, and that's what we were witnessing. Okay, because you know, I have a hard time believing that if you take a president down, that stops drug dealers. I never seen that in history. You know what I'm saying? But they're trying to make it like it's a government thing when it's not. But they'll tell you niggas anything, and y'all will believe it. You know, so they could just get up on the news and just say, hey, they were drug dealers. That country's drug dealers, I'm gonna get rid of them. Well, America's drug dealers, they're the biggest drug dealers, if that's the case. All right, but the drug dealers they were talking about was the regular legal ones. Okay? The regular legal ones. The cartels and you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Last time I knew they're not government regulated, you know, even though it could be, it's possible, but I don't think so. And I don't think fentanyl's gonna stop coming in here. All right? It's like these guys in I think Norway or Greenland is making fun of Babylonians. They're known for being on that shit, man. And then on top of that, you're not up in arms behind obesity. You're not up in arms behind all this processed food. Okay, the sedentary lifestyles. All right, everything is about money with this demon, resources. Okay, and then he'll try to allegedly, you know, whether true or not, he just pacifying Jake or pacifying the people. When he said he was gonna, he said it. He said it. He was gonna, attack the housing, tax market, you know, because you know, they pretty much inflated it by buying all the houses up and making it a monopoly on raising the prices up, right? And he said he's gonna abolish that. Ain't nothing but a pacification at the end of the day, okay? To make people feel like, okay, I make the citizens say he's a good president so he can keep on doing what he's doing. But at the end of the day, he's over there committing war crimes, going past the Senate, doing things to destroy the law, okay, creating division, all right, because he also said with ICE, he's protective, whatever ICE is doing, and they're breaking the law. But in the same breath, y'all say somebody deserved to die because they broke the law. You know, these are average Americans because it's not that they want justice, they want blood. Okay. And they know how to justify it on both ends, whether it's defensive or offensive. Okay. So reminds me of the scripture when you go into, let's see here, all right, I found it. All right, Sirach chapter 12 and 16, it says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to overthrow thee into a pit. He will weep with his head, with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. You see? And that's what these third world countries are going through. That's what everybody will go through when they're making deals with the devil. Okay? They're going to be there when you need them. But, you know, a lot of occasions, the reason why you need them is they cause the reason. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they do to a lot of countries. They put sanctions on them. They afflict them economically to where the people are caused for an outcry to say the leaders incompetent. When it's America that's afflicting them, because America has control of all the resources in the earth for the most part. This is why they're doing that to Venezuela, so they can gain more control of the resources. Because they're doing what? They're competing against Russia and China. They're thinking like it's this big race, this arms race. All right, because America has been sitting on top since World War II, man. And through prophecy, Isaiah the 14th chapter, their staff is being broken. So now they're trying to do things to reestablish their dominance in certain areas, especially against Russia, man. Okay, talking about they have a nuclear missile that can creep in the ocean at a speed so slow that a radar can't catch it, and it don't go out of the water. It's meant to just sit there at the coast and blow up and create a tsunami. And it's the largest nuclear missile that's made to this day. I think like 12 tons or something like, it's like not, I can't say large, I ain't gonna say that, but it's dumb large. It could be the largest, but it's crazy huge, and it's pretty much a force of tsunami. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, man, getting back to the speech, you go over to Venezuela and he's sitting there, he pretty much broke those people down and let the businessmen in. That's all that happened. When you watch that full speech that he did, and that one in particular, not the World Economic Forum one, but the one before that, he pretty much was letting everybody in. Venezuelans, everybody that had something to say that was positive about what he did to that country was all business people. But then the citizens, he would say, the citizens love me so much that they named the street. Who says that? Like that could have been paid protesters like you've been doing, like the CIA been doing. Y'all done, that's ain't nothing but throwing up a smoke signal to me to say, hey, we got it. We mission complete. When y'all get in there and the mission complete, put up a street in my name. Let us know that we got the mission is complete. Yeah. That's the type of devil their work, man. Cause they're blatantly going on TV acting like the citizens need Babylonians. That they need America. Then on top of that, you sitting here acting like it's all about lives, but then you'll sit here and shoot somebody, behind them making a turn or something like that. But you'll take your ass all the way to Iran behind something that ain't your business. Which the scriptures say, he is not a keeper at home. Okay. He's always in somebody else's business because his blessing is the fatness of the earth. And through that, he established that blessing through the sword, which is his other blessing. Okay. And his desires is the desires of hell, man. Death. Okay. Processed foods, high divorce rates, broken families. All right. Concrete, lies in education, irreversible debt system, ultimately the MOTB system. They have nothing good to offer. All right. Like that's a woman with bad head, that they private areas stink, flat booty, flat chest, bald headed. They ain't got nothing to offer. The fuck? Yeah. So come out of him, our people. You know what I'm saying? To our people, to Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, come out of her. Because she looks sweet because she got all that shit on. But the Lord about to strip that down, man. Okay? Pursuant to, it's like a hungry man when he dreameth, like, he waketh and he eateth, but when he waketh, it was nothing. Yeah, man, this shit is over with, boy. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing to see this go down like this, But at the end of the day, getting back to that Venezuela situation, it's all propaganda, man. They're going to demonize the people. They're going to act like it's citizens, and then the vice president or that woman that's up, they broke her. She ain't with that shit, but they pretty much say if she resists too, she gonna get the same fucking thing. But then walk around and talk about peace and safety. You know what I'm saying? It's call all Yamashina shot. But it's like, let me get it, because I'm in the route, So 1 Thessalonians 5:3 says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And that's talking about prophets, whistleblowers, various types of people. But at the end of the day, this place is headed in a decline. People are socially separated. They're stressed out financially. The food is fucking up your brain, fucking up your body, your chemical balance, your thought process and shit. Your woman's out of control, your kids out of control, education's out of control, TV's out of control, video games out of control, fucking everything, man. Sports, and motherfuckers come out, they lying, they betting, they doing this, and everybody all over the fucking place, man. Yeah. Boxing and shit, motherfuckers full of PEDs. This shit's out of control, man. Everybody everywhere is just all over the place, scratching and surviving, trying to fight and make it out of the glass dome, man. But the Lord gonna break that shit down, man. That's the thing, because the Lord rose him up just like he rose up Pharaoh, and he's gonna break him down. But for right now, he's gonna use his propaganda, he's gonna use his blessing, which is the sword, and be the hammer of the earth. And right now, we're watching him beat the oil out of Venezuela, man. And then give American citizens some lower house rates to pacify Jake. When it was already planned to raise the house rates, get hella money out of you, take that money, probably invest it in something else. And then, like this is the type of shit they do. What's up, sir? The type of shit they do. They'll do that. And gaslight the fuck out you. So, yeah, man, just wanted to do a quick hit, man. I was watching that, and it's a whole lot more to it. Lord will, I get more to it, but this motherfucker's been on a rampage, so it's kind of, he came out with one right after that and was saying hella shit, man. So this devil's really coming down with great wrath for real, man.